welcome back to Baron's Den for another roster video. This time we're looking at Khorne. So Khorne, one of the newer teams in Blood Bowl 2020. I think they were the first team released after the initial wave of Necromantic Imperial Nobility and Black Orcs. So they've not been in the game too long, and this is their first time they've gone through a redraft, as it were, as a reimagining. You could argue that they were reimagined from the Khorne Demons that came out of Blood Bowl 1, but they are a different team, really. So we'll see how they've got on with this latest roster change. So first of all, we've got the Bloodborne Marauder, and this guy is pretty much the same as he was, just has secondary access to Devious now. So movement 6, strength 3, edge 3 plus, passing 4 plus, armor 8 plus, 50k. He's got general mutation on primary, and he has the frenzy skill. So this skill is actually a bit of a liability with the Marauder, with the lineman. If you could choose to remove it, I think a lot of players would from their linemen, because they're only strength 3. They're very weak and easily removed. The other thing I thought was interesting, which is a bit disappointing, is considering they're Khorne and they're quite a violent team, you'd have thought they'd have had Devious on primary, but maybe that's coming from a place of, well, Khorne expects you to, battle and spill blood in the more honourable way, perhaps. But I don't think he cares from when the blood flows. So I am surprised that they haven't got Devious on primary, and I think that is a bit of a miss for them, because they're all about removal, Khorne, and having those Devious skills would have helped them a little bit with that. But other than that, they're pretty much as they were. So let's move on. Khorne Gauze. This is the big one, because they've gone from 4 Khorne Gauze down to 2, because the whole it's got to be in the box rule, which is no doubt going to hurt the team, because unlike with the Pestigores going down to 2 of those is bad from a moving the ball point of view, but they still have 1 or 2 to do that, and the rest of the team can function as they should. The trouble with going down 2 Khorne Gauze is they're the only ones that don't have frenzy. So when the rest of the team can spiral a bit out of control, or has to refrain from making those blocks, from making sure they don't fall into frenzy traps, the Khorne Gauze are really useful to help balance that out. And so dropping down to just 2 is a bit, a bit of a concern. But they have got better, so they are now movement 6, strength 3, edge 3 plus, passing 4 plus, armor 9 plus, 70k for general mutation and strength on primary. Again, I mentioned earlier, the Beastmen of the Chaos Chosen have lost their strength access, but the Khorne Gauze retained it, which I think is really important. And it's got APD on secondary, which means the Khorne Gauze actually has access to every skill available. But obviously with secondaries now not being able to random, I don't think there'll be too much you dip into the secondary for. Maybe dodge if you're going to create a ball carrier. But of course, with elite skills, some of those skills that it would want are more expensive now. And its skills still Horns and Juggernaut, but it's now gained Jump Up and Thick Skull, and both of those are actually really good for a Khorne Gauze. Thick Skull's going to help keep it on the pitch. It's never one you get too excited about when you either choose it or you randomly generate it in the past. But to have it on your player for free is really good. It's very useful, and it does come up a lot. That you would be surprised how many times you roll the 8 on 2 dice. I don't know the odds exactly, but I'm pretty sure that 7 and 8 are the 2 most common numbers rolled when you roll 2 dice. So by making sure you don't get knocked out by rolling an 8, it's really useful. So on the whole, we've got to decide whether those little improvements are enough to mitigate dropping down to 2 Khorne Gauze. And given what I said about the Skaven, you'd be thinking, I'd be saying that's not a problem. Well, we'll come back to that when we get to the pros and cons. Bloodseekers, brilliant. I love Bloodseekers. Kind of wish they had Edge 3 plus like a normal Chaos Warrior, but they are pretty good. Movement 5, Strength 4, Edge 4 plus, Passing 6 plus, Armor 10 plus is all the same as it was. They have got 5k cheaper, which is nice. They have General Mutation Strength, same as the Beastmen, and then Agility and Devious on secondary. They just don't get the passing, which is fine. They never used to, so they've not lost anything. They obviously come with Frenzy, but Strength 4 Frenzy is a lot more reliable than Strength 3 Frenzy. But again, this elite tax now is going to hurt them because their block and their guard and their mighty blow is going to be a lot more expensive than it would have been otherwise. But other than the cost decrease and the devious on secondary, which I don't think is important, that's where the Bloodseekers are at the moment. And then finally, the Bloodspawn. As you can see here, not a single thing has changed as far as I can see. It's still movement 5, strength 5, edge 4 plus, passing 6 plus, armor 9 plus, 160,000 with strength and mutation, and then on secondary with general and agility. It has not changed one bit. It has Unchannel Fury, Learner 4 plus, Mighty Blow, Claws and Frenzy. It still has that lovely combination of Mighty Blow and Claws that you just get to start with, making it an absolute machine. Yeah, not much more to say really. I don't think you're going to do anything particularly differently with the Bloodspawn in this edition of the game. The extra cost on elite skills might put you off, but I still think you're going to want guard on and block on him. You could go Juggernaut, I suppose, instead. But yeah, that's the Bloodspawn. So, additional rules, they are 60k rerolls still. Yes, they can have an Apo. And they are Chaos Clash, favoured of Khorne. This is good. Obviously, they get Brawling Brutes, which means they can accrue more star player points from their casualties than they can from touchdowns, which I think is a good trade for them because they're all about killing and spilling blood. So I think that's good for them. And so on to the pros and cons. So let's look at the cons. 2 less Khorngors. The elite skills will really hurt this team because what they want most is block. None of them have block, and yet all of them have got frenzy. So getting block was the most important first skill for not every single player, but a lot of them. And now that's going to cost even more. So that's not great. And also, no primary devious access. This is coming up a lot, and I don't want people to think that I think the devious skill tree is amazing. I don't actually think it's amazing at all. But it is a useful tool to have on some of your players, and the fact that they have got no primary access to that, I think, is a shame for them because they'd have been able to generate a dirty player lineman with randoming, probably only for 10k, and now if they want dirty player, it's going to cost at least 40k. So it's yeah, I just think it's a bit of a negative. So on the upside, the Khorngor with jump up and thick skull is a definite improvement to the Khorngor. Cheaper Bloodseekers, you're happy with. You'll always take cheaper players. And of course, they have some secondary devious access, which means if you really wanted to go for that on one play, you could. Unlike some teams which have got no devious access. But when I was weighing up the difference that I feel that Khorne has when compared with Skaven is that the rest of the team, especially early on, is a bit of a liability. Whereas the Skaven can still do what they normally do without 2 gutter runners. They're just going to struggle a bit more than they did. Having 2 less Khorngors means that the team could destabilise the whole team. And although this is good, I don't think it's enough to counteract losing 2 of those more reliable players. So yeah, I feel like Khorne are a little bit worse off in this edition. But that doesn't mean to say that once you played a few games, actually you might think, you know what, it hasn't made much of a difference and the Khorngor's fine. I know in a lot of tournaments, people wouldn't be taking more than 2 Khorngors. When I've faced Khorne in tournaments, they've only had 2. So actually maybe it's not as big a deal as I'm thinking. And it is very hypocritical of me, given that I've got Skaven and Orcs here who've also lost positionals. But I just feel like with Orcs, what they've given the Orcs actually counteracts the losses they've faced. And with the Skaven, feel like the team can still function without all 4 of their positionals. That's what I worry about with Khorne, that the whole team as a whole won't function as smoothly without all 4 Khorngors. But we shall wait and see. I haven't put them as low as the humans yet, so I think the humans out of all the teams I've done so far are the ones who've come off the worst. And I think Necromantic Horror, I'm starting to think I shouldn't have done this Golden Up category. And what I might do is I might bung them into this category here. Because I do think, well, now I've done some of the other teams, I look back and think, well, was it really amazingly better? Or is it just better and should be in here? But we'll see. If another team joins it in there, then maybe. I might actually have to move Amazons as well because I didn't realise the change to break tackle when I did the Amazon video, which means they're blockers that can just break tackle their way into cages is really potent. So yeah, it just shows nothing stays still in Blood Bowl. Nothing stays still. Right, I will leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much. Bye for now.